Hello and welcome to the Kongversation. I'm Hyle Russell.
I'm Chad McCanna.
Chad, how are you doing?
Doing okay.
Doing all right?
Yeah. We had a little audio driver snafu when we tried to record initially earlier in the week. So the episode's a bit delayed. We're recording Sunday morning. It'll go up as soon as we're done. So thank you to the audience for bearing with us as I banged my head on a brick wall made of Windows error messages.
Now, what happened last week? Because I was listening to our, really moving Iwata tribute, if I do say so myself, and
you're really hanging a lampshade right on this one, aren't you?
Yeah, your audio kind of dipped in quality near the end.
Yeah, it's strange. I know what happened, but I don't know how it happened. Yeah, basically, I think my microphone,
like how babies are made, nobody knows where they come from.
Right? Is it a stork? Is it a cabbage patch? Is it a freakish stork made of cabbage? No one knows for sure. What happened is I think at some point my microphone got unplugged somehow or deactivated, and then my recording program defaulted to my webcam mic, hence the very muffled sound. So I apologize for that. The strange thing is, though, that's happened in the past, and usually it crashes my recording program.
Yeah, because you seem to love yanking your mic out of the computer.
Yeah. Oh, God. Nothing gets me off more than recording for an hour and a half only to have everything on my computer crash. I love it.
Yeah.
But no, it just kept going straight through. So I noticed that all of a sudden my waveform, which I monitor throughout the recording, got very quiet. But I thought, maybe
you're just lacking enthusiasm.
Right. Maybe this is indicative that the show is this particular episode is circling the drain. But no, we kept powering through, and only upon editing the damn thing was I shocked and appalled that the last 2/3 of our Iwata tribute had 1/2 muffled audio. So I hope you bore with us. Bared? What's the past tense of bear?
Brother.
Edson? Anyway, I hope you bared with us through that episode, but hopefully we won't have any such difficulties on this one. The audio drivers that kept us going out on Sunday, like a day and a half late, are related to the phone calls. We're going to take a few of those in this episode, and I've got it set up so that we can listen to them in real time again. Hooray!
Yay! Okay.
Yeah, we're just as enthusiastic as the DK Vine Hall of Fame viewers.
Is that still a thing? What?
Oh, yeah, no, I think the last two should be coming out pretty soon.
What technical calamities happened there? All right. Well, anyway,
time,
which
is the same technical calamity that plagues basically every Doctor that Stephen Moffat writes.
What?
They're always fucking rebooting the universe and shit. It's because of timey-wimey nonsense.
They did it. They did it in the one season you watched.
No, they did it twice. No. They did it in the two seasons I watched.
That's the Matt Smith era. Then that's
okay. Well, I thought that calling it the Stephen Moffat era is sort of synonymous with Matt Smith. Or
yeah.
Has he continued
Peter
into
Capaldi?
Capaldi?
Yeah. Peter Capaldi is Moffat penned.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I haven't watched any Capaldi stuff because I just can't stand Clara.
Well, Capaldi's worth the time, even if the scripts are terrible. Like the Capaldi season was half good, half terrible.
I heard a story, and I know we got to get on point. But I heard someone talk about an episode where the moon is an egg.
Yeah,
and the egg hatches and immediately lays another egg that becomes the moon again.
Lays another moon, yes. That's strangely enough, that's not the worst episode.
What? How is that possibly not the worst?
There's an episode where trees spring up all around the world, covering the cities in massive forests. And I was like, well, that sounds like a cool plot.
Yeah,
but it turns out
it sounds like The Happening done a little bit more interestingly.
But that's because that there's going to be massive solar flares coming the Earth's way, and so the Earth has created trees to protect everybody.
the Earth itself has determined that we need to sprout up trees everywhere, all over the surface, so that soil is protected. Like that was the Earth's thought.
Yeah, and then the solar flares come and they burn up all the trees, and everybody's happy.
It wasn't like the plants themselves sensing that there may be a stronger source of photosynthesis, or
it might be plants or some like Earth force, like power.
God.
That was the worst episode. That was shit.
Wow, it's funny when they try and have these like really ham-fisted environmental messages. And like, I understand that you had something allegorical, but that should have stayed in the writer's room a few more days.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's just a lot of it's undercooked. But then you really get the Peter Capaldi era is worth it just for the fourth episode, which is just this really trippy kind of reflective journey into his the Doctor's psyche. So I would watch.
Well, Hyle, I suppose I'll put up with it for a little bit longer so I can get to episode 4.
Yeah, does she still talk like that?
She does in that episode that I just recommended. Yeah, absolutely.
Does she?
Yeah,
Clara. It takes place entirely in the base from the abyss, where there's a limited supply of oxygen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, as Chad mentioned, we have got our hotline or our phone calls set up again so we can listen to them in real time. So if you want to call the Kongversation and be heckled by us in media res, then
call
1-281-410-KONG. That corresponds to 1-281-410-5664. Yeah, basically you can experience the same feeling I have every week recording with Chad.
Can't believe they said that, dummy. You can also join the forum.
Nothing quickly destroys your self-esteem as having Chad comment on you in real time. So
because I can always come up with more and more and more words to describe what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm like Jed Bartlett in that sense. It's literally never been a better time to join the DK Vine forum. We are on not the eve of release, but the eve of release for Rare Replay.
Yeah, the head of Rare Replay is cresting, but it's going to take an extra day for it to fully squeeze out.
Labor can take up to 48 hours. This is a well-known OB-GYN fact.
That is scientific fact.
You can't argue with it. I didn't look it up, but I'm pretty sure that's how vaginas work.
Well, just earlier you thought there's a cabbage patch involved, so I'm not sure how you know vaginas work.
It's like, that's why the mother has to eat lots and lots of cabbage the day before she gives birth, right? Most births take place on January 2nd because, for good luck, you eat black-eyed peas and cabbage on New Year's Day.
I'm a Christian Scientist, so honestly, I have no idea how it works.
Usually it's me going off on organized religion.
It's a light jab. It's a friendly jab on the face.
A friendly jab on the Christian Scientist.
You go pretty far where you're like, Jesus is a fraud, and everybody who believes in it.
No, I never said Jesus was a fraud. I just said he's sort of made up based on legend and myth from many different. He's a pastiche. He's a pastiche with a good message.
He's a pastiche, but there's some evidence that he was a historical dude who just had all these mythologies attributed to him. Anyway, what are we doing? I
like the idea that like Jesus is like he's like the Johnny Appleseed of Aramea. Like he's sort of just. He's this folk hero.
Paul Bunyan.
He's the Paul Bunyan, yeah. The Romans had a railroad and Jesus put it in the ground.
Really, if the church wants to boost attendance, they should like give him a little like blue ox or something, or some sort of like animal sidekick. I think that would do wonders.
He needs a mascot. Like you can't just anthropomorphize Eucharist crackers. Like he needs.
I'm sure Chris Sutherland and his ilk could. That'd be great if the follow-up to Yooka-Laylee was a Bible game?
I'm hoping that one of the books that Yuka and Laylee travel to is in fact the Bible.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's like one archetype that has never been done. in any of these games.
It'd be hard to collect the pages because they're so like paper thin that they would just like fly away in the wind. It's funny how Bibles are always made of this like rice paper.
I thought you were going to say something about the pages sticking together because of all the choir boy semen from the priest.
Why would you think that I would say that?
That's where my brain went first.
Well, clearly you and I do not share a brain. We are not of a mind on this one.
Well,
okay.
I am a fan of Pope Francis.
So as I was saying, it's never been a better time to join our forum. Jesus Christ, man.
You can complain about what you just heard on the DK Vide forum. There's never been a better time to complain.
I know we're only 11 minutes in, but I really feel like I need to back away slowly from this episode, or lest I wind up on some registry.
I'm not saying I like to masturbate choir boys.
Oh my God! Subscribe to us on. I can't even do this pitch now. I'm going against every instinct to recommend this show to people at the moment. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Please give us a 5-star rating if for some reason you enjoy this.
If you're Jared from Subway.
Yeah. What? We're all over social media: Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, to a lesser extent Instagram, which I don't know, maybe we'll hand that over to Joe or not Cameron. Cameron's busy with the Tumblr. I don't know. Maybe we'll find someone to take on the Instagram. Tell your friends about the show, please. Word of mouth really helps. And that's, I mean, it's not like we're not going to keep doing it, but we can continue to do it more comfortably without the earlier audio driver insanity, which was a result of us switching equipment against our wishes. If you tell your friends about the show, ultimately we may find a way to monetize this thing and get a little closer to breaking even, because it is a quite expensive undertaking. So please help us spread the word. Turn someone on to the show that may, again, for some reason, be interested in it.
We're going to keep doing it because we have that bomb strapped to our chest where if we slow down, if we produce less than 54 episodes a year, we will explode.
Yeah, this was the unseen third sequel to Speed.
The second sequel.
Third film, second sequel.
Right. I was going to say, is there a world where a Speed 3 already exists? Because sign me up for that universe.
Yeah. It's called Speed 3, Speed 2 Cruise Control, Still Cruising.
Yeah. Is Jason Patrick still the male lead? Because
wait, Jason Patrick, I don't even know who that is. That doesn't say
that's isn't that the male lead of Speed 2 Cruise Control?
Oh, I don't know. I just knew Sandra Bullock was in it.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves dropped out of that one.
Oh, of course, yeah. Was Sandra Bullock in the first Speed?
Yeah, she was the bus driver.
She was on the bus. Yeah.
She was the bus driver. She was the female lead of Speed.
It's like Kevin McCallum. Like in the 90s, these sequels, they didn't even try to do something different.
Did you say Kevin McAllister?
Well, I was going to go into like Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. It's like it is literally the same movie with a different setting. You know, Speed 2 can be described as Speed on a boat. Home Alone 2 is Home Alone in New York. It's the exact same movie. Like 90s sequels did that constantly.
Ghostbusters 2 even. It disguised it better, but it's essentially the same movie as Ghostbusters 1.
Yeah. They've up to replacing Stay Puft with the fucking Statue of Liberty.
yeah. Well, we did another big set piece here. What if the Statue of Liberty comes to life?
Yeah, some big anthropomorphic monster. Okay, I guess it's a good one because we sprayed it with mood slime.
I like elements of Ghostbusters too, but
yeah, no, I'm not gonna shit on it. I mean, Vigo was good. I liked the his little helper guy who has showed up in other films that I've liked him in.
He was in Ally McBeal.
He was in Ally McBeal. Was he in Birdcage? I saw him in something recently, and I watched Birdcage not too long ago. I don't know if that was it, but it seems like a movie he would have been in. I don't know. It's like the right era. He has like a really quirky personality that would have fit in the world of Birdcage, but maybe he wasn't in it. But I like that guy. He's good.
Possessed art restorer. It sounds about right for Birdcage.
Right. Yeah, he was like second in command in Robin Williams' household to Hank Azaria.
Yeah. One more bit of due diligence we have to get to. Chad, we got to check in on your McCartney impression because this is our barometer for how your voice is doing post E3.
Well, I did just wake up, and usually it takes a little bit for the rasp to get out of my voice, but let me see. Hey. I actually, I kind of hit that. Yeah, now I'm talking a little like this, but yeah, that's close.
Now, if you just woke up, a more adequate McCartney impression would be you going to the piano and writing Yesterday. So,
I just thought I'd go over to the piano here and do plunkety plunkety ploo, and scrambled eggs, and I had a hit song. That's how we did it back in the day.
You're just doing Dana Carvey.
I'm doing Dana Carvey's impression. That was a blatant ripoff.
Yeah.
And then John was over there going strum to strum, and Ringo said, "Oh yeah, do the drums."
I can tell it's Dana Carvey because he uses vernacular that's not like from like McCartney's usual
like plunkety
gibberish.
blue.
Yeah, it's not McCartney's usual gibberish, which you have enough to go off of based on McCartney's usual mannerisms and weird eccentricities. But now you're coughing. Great.
Yep. Well, yeah. You had to get the McCartney impression in, and now my voice is destroyed for another 2 months.
Maybe it's the McCartney impression that's doing it.
Then we should definitely keep doing it at the top of every show.
It's tradition at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway,
can't fight tradition.
Anyway, so one bit we need to plug before we move on to our big Kevin Callahan episode of the Kongversation is if you're going to be in the Chicago area now through October 3rd, you might want to check out the sketch comedy show called Drink.
What do they do at Drink?
Well, Drink, and this is all caps, Drink! ! It's subtitled.
Have fun Googling that, by the way.
Right, yeah. Well, it's subtitled The Sketch Comedy Drinking Game, and then video game edition. Oh,
great.
So I'm not sure if there have been past drinks, and this is the video game edition. I'm from the title, I'm gathering that's the case. But it's put on by a sketch comedy troupe called Corn Productions, and they're located in Chicago. You can go to cornservatory.org for more details. That's CORNSERVATORY.
So like conservatory with an R in the first syllable.
Right, but instead of con, it's corn.
Corn, yes.
Yeah. So,
and that is .org, .com. What are they?
I said .org. I said .org
okay.
like 5 times.
I just wanted to underline it because people are going to type in cornservatory.com and get fucking enraged at us.
No, it's .org, so it's slightly classier. You got a slightly classier affair going on. Yeah. Anyway, so basically,
there was a day when you had to like be a registered like nonprofit to get an org TLD.
I thought you were going to say sex offender.
What?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say registered sex offender.
All right, I don't know who the Chad is that exists in your head, but you always seem to ascribe, like, my next words are going to be something related to sexual trauma. And I don't know why that is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a good judge of character.
Okay. Well, clearly not, because you're batting 0 right now.
Well, for the best, because otherwise you should be in jail. So I'm glad I'm wrong.
I just think that you have some demons that are coloring your mental image of me. It's like you're ascribing them all to your head, Chad.
I'm like those like homophobes who are like deeply closeted, very flamboyant, like in their heart, but that projects as just outwards, hatred towards like-minded sexual beings.
Here's the big twist. I don't actually exist. You've been talking to yourself now for 3 years.
This is like a Fight Club scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, with 3 years, we've been doing this for 16.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a good point. It's not just the podcast, is it?
Yeah, no.
There's also Which Brothers Bears Best.
So back to Drink. From what I gather, this is basically it's a series of sketch comedy routines, and only they actually drink on stage. I'm not sure if that's legal or not, but they do it, and not sure what the laws are in Chicago.
It is Chicago, pretty much. If the law prevents it, then they'll get someone to rewrite the law.
That's true. Yeah, Chicago is the closest you can get to real life Grand Theft Auto here in America.
Pretty much. Well, no, I'd say if you combine Chicago and Detroit, you'd get real life Grand Theft Auto.
Well, with a sprinkling of Los Angeles.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need the upper crust sleaze. You need the complete devastation of Detroit, and then you need the political corruption of Chicago.
Right, exactly. It's a hell of a town. So anyway, so they drink on stage, and they're doing all video game related sketches. And so they approached us this week, and they said, "Hey, we mentioned Diddy Kong and Banjo in our sketches," and I'm like, sold. And so after a bit of a back and forth, they offered to give DK Vine readers and by proxy Kongversation listeners
DK Vine
our social media they read.
Yeah.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Anyway,
right.
So they offered to give DK Vine affiliated people, there you go, a 50% discount on the tickets. So if
how might one redeem said discount?
You type in DK Vine, all caps, in the code when you go to buy your tickets on cornservatory.org.
Wow, we're a legitimate coupon code now?
We are a coupon code. We finally did it. We can retire happily now, knowing that we were a coupon code. So this is going to be held every Saturday night now through October 3rd. So, it looks to be a fun time. And strangely enough, as I mentioned on the Facebook page, Jeremy Thorne is not involved in this production called Drink. So that's strange to me, because when I think of alcoholic video game comedy, I think Jeremy Thorne.
Well, if Jeremy was involved, it would be subtitled "You Bitch."
That's true. That's true.
And this one is a video game related sketch drinking game, right?
Right.
That's the subtitle to this, not "You fucking bitch."
The sketch comedy drinking game video game edition.
Yeah.
All right. So, but it is put out by Korn Productions, and as we discussed off air, Jeremy loves Korn.
He does love corn. Not only does his bum character, bum number one, love freshly canned corn, but Jeremy is a big fan of feces related corn, as seen in his favorite boss battle of all time, Great Mighty Pooh,
right?
Which is a fact. I'm not making fun of Jeremy. He fucking loves that boss battle for good reason.
Well, a lot of people do. We'll get into the rare Twitch streams here, but they a lot of people wanted to see the Great Mighty Pooh fight, the Chucky Pooh fight.
Yes.
More than anything else. And I was like in the Twitch stream saying, "Oh, show spooky, show, no, show it's war." No, everybody wanted to see the Pooh monster.
Well, in fairness, they did have Chris Marlowe sitting there, so... Oh, wait, well, there were a couple Twitch streams. You talking about the 6-hour marathon?
I'm talking about the Wednesday one put on by Rare's own channel.
Oh, okay. There was one done on Friday that was like a 6-hour marathon where they played all 30 games. We'll get to it.
I only saw the one because I'm a busy guy.
I saw a few minutes of the other, and then I tried to watch the replay yesterday, and I got frustrated because I was trying to also edit a bunch of Witch Brothers Bear videos, and I couldn't have that.
Oh my God, how many more of those I thought we were done with those.
All right, well, I'm consolidating the 3 Camp Fan Gamers into one video, and then there's another one from Otakon, and then and that should be the docket. But the thing is, people keep making them. So we did just debut a Witch Brothers Bear answered by Sauron the Deceiver. So,
really?
Yeah. Sauron from off of Lord of the Rings told us which Brothers Bear was best. And this by the way, is a Sauron prior to the Battle of Pelennor Fields, because he is still wearing the One Ring of Power.
Okay, so we time traveled back to this earlier era of Middle Earth.
Well, and also traveled from Middle Earth to Earth. Yes.
Well, actually, if you examine the writings of Tolkien, Middle Earth actually is what?
Tolkien?
Yeah. I really like to enunciate his name.
All right,
Tolkien. Yeah.
Tolkien. All right.
Yeah. Gotta say every syllable and really, really butcher it, like murder those syllables.
Yeah.
No, but
like Smaug.
Smaug. That's the way he would want it, man. That's the way he would want it. No, but according to his writings, if you really get deep into the writings, Middle Earth is actually Earth in an earlier age.
Oh, did they pull a Pikmin? What a ripoff.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, yeah, that's, I mean, it's true. Like, look it up.
I don't like that. I would prefer
that is a pocket realm or something?
Yes. I want it to be kind of self-contained and because you've got like all this sort of supernatural history and the Valar and I don't know, man. I don't want Middle Earth to just be Earth history. That's boring to me.
But it's a lost arcane piece of Earth history. I like that. I kind of like that. I attribute that the same thing to Hyrule and the Legend of Zelda mythos. In my mind,
But why would there be no historical record of any of this?
But there is in the world in his writings. That's like historical myth that's passed down.
Right, but what I'm saying is Lord of the Rings from a technological point of view is sort of it's sort of based on medieval Europe. And at least the world of men. So, and the age of men is meant to kick off what ultimately...
Probably earlier than medieval Europe. Probably more like the era of like Beowulf and like Chaucer and
Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't know. They have trebuchets and stuff.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's blurred, but yeah, I mean, you also got to just think like. This is the history of Earth in this version of Earth, in this fictional version of Earth. Like,
that's what I'm saying. It has to be a fictionalized version. It can't be our Earth, like because there would be record of fell beasts flying around.
But that's the thing though. Like people get so like argumentative about this stuff. Like, yes, every fictional reality is a fictional version of Earth. You can't complain like about the X-Files not taking place on our Earth because there was never like any documentation of a fluke man.
Okay. No, I have no arguments with you here. I'm just saying I don't like the idea that it is literally our Earth, much like the way that we call the Donkey Kong universe.
Yeah, I know, but I just more or less it's our Earth. I mean, just look at it.
It's based on our Earth.
Just do the
in that it has the same gravity as our Earth, right?
But no. It's supposed to be the history of our Earth. Look up it's in like the it's in one of those like deep. Like,
is this a Christopher Tolkien thing?
No. This is from the letters of Tolkien. So,
okay. All right. So he really wanted to impress fucking C.S. Lewis, and he's like, hey, let me blow your mind, C.S. I'm sure his name was like also Christopher or something. Guess what? Put down your pedophile propaganda and listen up. No, that was Lewis Carroll. I always get those mixed up. Lewis Carroll was a pedophile, right?
I was like, because C.S. Lewis was a big time Christian. You're calling the Bible?
Oh, no. I wasn't going there.
Okay, I was going like third time in a row. You're making a pedophile priest reference.
No. I got Lewis Carroll and C.S. Lewis mixed up. My apologies.
Okay. Yeah, that's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down, my friend.
No. So let's. I think we have some calls to get to before we discuss the news, including Kevin Callahan.
The news starring Kevin Callahan.
Oh God, seriously? Is that how we're framing this one?
Oh, I've been hyping up the Kevin Callahan episode for like weeks now, and I'm sorry, beloved industry icons die, and other stuff just keeps cropping up. So we finally get to do our Kevin Callahan episode.
All right. Well, first let's take some calls.
All right.
All right, guys. Say here again. Oh, shit, sorry, I lost some stuff. A few weeks ago, I decided to finally play through a couple of DKU games from the buyout era that I'd never really given a chance before.
Donkey Konga 2?
No, not Jungle. King of Swing and Jungle Beat were my first stops.
Oh.
Now, Jungle Beat, a bit fucking weird, because, like, I did, like, the first few...
It says on the box.
I can't remember how the level structure's set up, but I think, isn't there, like, 2 acts per kingdom, or 3? No, 3 acts. I don't know, whatever.
2 acts in a boss fight.
The first 3 or 4 kingdoms complete, and then I got to this level where it's like a fucking water level, and like I'd actually accumulated some kind of skill and started getting the really high medal scores. But when I got to this water level, it was like, I don't know, I just hit a wall, like my skills didn't translate to the water control. Oh, maybe I'm just shit, I don't know, but I just couldn't be arsed with it. I was kind of enjoying it. I mean, I think it's Hyle who said a few times, you know, he's kind of reevaluated the game since the buyout era ended, but I mean, fucking hell, it's just so... I just had enough of it, lads, so I've given up on that. But it got me wondering, are there any games, DKU games, that... I suppose this is more towards Chad, because I know with the slush fund, Hyle's going to hit all these eventually, no matter what, because he's got to. Well, one day. But I suppose for Chad, are there any DKU games that you've wanted to give a chance and you've just fucking given up on after a... maybe an experience similar to that, or just because you simply don't like them, full stop. Cheers, guys. See you later.
All right, well, thank you for the call, Say. I mean, the obvious answer for me is cameo titles, not cameo elements of power. Much to our chagrin, we didn't get to cover that on the DKU. Thanks a lot, Chris Alcock. You couldn't put Royston there, could you?
I think they've learned their lesson, and they
don't want the DK Vine bump. They're like, we're good without it. No.
I'm saying I think they've learned their lesson since then.
Okay.
I really don't foresee any rare game coming down the pike that's not going to have some sort of ridiculous shoehorn cameo.
Oh,
at least that's my hope.
You know that Chris Alcock now, he is fully versed in the DKU rules, and he's like throwing some chaos into.
Yeah, he's trying to fuck with you at this point. Like I'm saying, the thing is,
I'm baiting it, and he's taking the bait.
I know, but there's a difference between Word of God and God just screwing with you.
No, man, this is where I think that. But
Chris Alcock is going to tell you to kill your firstborn son, and you're going to do it.
Well, yeah, because I love cabbage. No, this is. Let me give this the backstory. So, on one of the Twitch streams, I think it was Wednesday, when it ended, Chris Alcock and I were both in the chat room.
It was the Tuesday one or
Tuesday
Monday
one
or something.
Yeah, and we, we started basically just discussing back and forth in the conversation in front of God and country turned to the Brothers Bear. And Chris Alcock, he's apparently familiar with Super Mario Wiki's Bear, and he said that Bear is Banjo's dad. And so then quickly, knowing the possible implications
By
of
the
this,
way, Bear is my second favorite Mario Wiki character after Roddy Piper. So rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Roddy. So I'm partial to the elves entry on Super Mario Wiki, which is not about any elves that ever existed in a Mario game. It's just it describes Santa's helpers, the very concept of elves.
Right. Well, Roddy Piper, of course, visited the Mario Brothers Brooklyn plumbing offices to get his bagpipes fixed because he heard they fixed pipes, and Mario and Luigi tried to explain to him we don't fix these kind of pipes, and he got all angry because he was a pro wrestler, and they're like, nah.
What a wacky miscommunication.
But they fixed his pipes, and then they're all happy.
Did he want bagpipes fixed because he is a rowdy piper?
Yeah, that was his wrestling gimmick. He was a Scotsman.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, wow.
He wore a kilt. Yeah.
I just know him from They Live. I never really watched wrestling.
He didn't wear a kilt in They Live.
I came here to eat haggis and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of haggis. Wait, no. The other one. It's just a movie of him chewing bubble gum for 90 minutes.
Could you imagine haggis filled with gum, like bubble gum?
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, haggis is bad enough, but...
Yeah, and the only way to authentically make bubblegum haggis is to, much like foie gras, force feed the sheep all of that bubblegum until their stomach clogs up.
Anyway. God, we're like 3 conversations removed from Say's call already.
I'm tracing the tangents back. So, all right. I was talking to Mr. Alcock, and basically he said Bear Bear is Banjo's father. So, spun into action. I asked, have you ever worked on a Banjo game? Because if so, you might have Word of God status on this. And he said he didn't work on Banjo Pilot. It was Pilot or Grunty's Revenge? I can't recall. He didn't work on it, but he was in the credits for it for some reason. I said, hey, I'm sorry, but that's good enough. You have Word of God until a more senior member of a Banjo team like Greg Mayles contradicts. We have no choice because there's no in-game overrule. This is the best information we have about Banjo's father.
No,
Bear is Banjo's father.
There's no Bear character. That's
the thing. There is no Bear character because, as we all know, what Mario Wiki claims is Bear is actually Bizarre Bear from Donkey Kong Land 3.
That's right.
So that means that whomever this Bear character is that Chris Alcock is describing as Banjo's dad has yet to be seen. So this is a new character called Bear that is Banjo's dad until we hear different.
It's all circling the drain. It's all circling the drain.
Yeah, as soon as they realize that they're gods, they're going to
they do realize that
destroy.
they're fucking with us on a daily basis at this point.
I know. Well, I got Ed Bryan to say that Mumbo was a Jinjo, but I don't think he truly understood what he was saying.
Yeah, but like Greg Mayles probably disagrees with that. That's the thing. Like, you're never going to get a consensus, especially with all these rare folk out.
But there's a hierarchy, though. I mean, I think Ed Bryan, outside of Greg, I would say Ed Bryan and Greg Mayles are probably on even footing when it comes to Mumbo, because while Greg was like the creative, I don't know if he was a creative director. I don't know what his title was, but he's like the main creative mind behind those games. But Ed Bryan designed Mumbo.
Ed Bryan's no longer with Rare, though, so you've also got to take into account.
I don't think that matters. If we're talking about
okay, but if Retro's like continuity can firmly define what Cranky Kong is to Donkey Kong.
No, but that's in game. That's in game though, and in game always trumps Word of God.
All right. This is neither time.
There's a very specific hierarchy. And
I agree. I'm just saying, like, based on drunken Twitch streams with Chris Alcock, I don't know. I'm assuming you were drunk.
Why do you assume you? Okay, look, because I used to drink like constantly when I was in college and Los Angeles. I don't drink that much anymore. You've got this like 2008 vision of me that is also apparently a sex offender. I don't know who your mental image of me is, but it's not who I am. Anyway, to answer your call, say it'd probably be one of the cameo titles. If I had to give a more potentially controversial.
As far as like you tried it and you hit a brick.
Yeah, I think I hit a wall on like Mario Party 4 or 5.
I honestly I hit a wall on Mario Party 5. It took me a long time to beat that. Because I didn't have the willpower. It's one of the games that broke me, and then the DKU game right after that was Double Dash, and that's the game that broke me, and then of course spawned the slush fund years later, trying to go back and beat that. So
if I were to say a game though that wasn't one of these, cameo titles, that there's really not a lot of impetus to 100% other than saying you did it. It's just checking boxes at that point. I never finished.
I think you mean impotence.
Right. I never finished Conquer Live and Reloaded. It was off-putting to me. Honestly, and maybe if I revisited it, it'd be fine. But it's like,
wait, you never finished the remake of Bad Fur Day?
No, I never did. I got as far as Van Helsing and then kind of threw up my arms in frustration. I think it would probably be
easier to go back to it now because you probably don't hold the original Bad Fur Day up as quite the same way you did back then.
No. I mean, I recognize 2005.
2005 Chad, I think, still revered Bad Fur Day as like the pinnacle of the N64.
Well, 2005 Chad was constantly drunk, right?
And apparently hanging out at the church.
I really don't know where you get your mental image of me. No, yeah, you're right. I think that with the benefit of a lot of hindsight, I recognize the flaws in Conker's Bad Fur Day. The gameplay was in a lot of ways second to the narrative, which is fine for what that game wanted to be, and the animation, of course.
Yeah, I mean, like my view of Conker is I'm not as hard on it as some people have gotten over the years. I like it for what it is, and I still very much love it. I'm glad it's not Banjo. I'm glad it's not just them trying to do a third iteration of the Banjo franchise after Donkey Kong 64. I'm glad it went in a completely weird direction, even if that doesn't make for the best gameplay.
Right, and I can't wait to revisit it on Rare Replay on Tuesday. But I think that with
are you gonna do that on Tuesday, or are you going to
Well, I meant revisit it ellipsis on Rare Play on Tuesday. So
there's only 24 hours in a day. So
I know I got to start with Jetpack. That's going to be my first.
You're going to do them in chronological order.
I'm going to. I'm not saying I'm not going to jump around, because I certainly want to get in Ghoulies, prior to making my way to 2003. But I think that I'm at least going to. I want to play the game until I get either bored or frustrated, or because I'm imagining with those Spectrum titles, it's going to be pretty grueling. What I don't want to do is get sick of any of the games in Rare Replay. So when I find myself, if I find my interest waning, I'm going to move on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and then I can keep jumping back and revisiting them as my short-term nostalgia kicks in. Like, if I'm in the middle of Snake, Rattle, and Roll, and I'm like, oh man, Underworld was a lot of fun. Let me go play that for a little bit. I'm opening myself up to that, but just initially, I'm going to go all the way through.
Yeah, I think I'm going to jump around at first, but there is going to be a playthrough at some point where I sit down and play them all in chronological order. So,
jeez, it's going to be intense. There's so much fucking content. I'm just thinking of like Jet Force Gemini alone rescuing all the because there's an achievement attached to rescuing all the fucking tribals and getting that spaceship part. Oh my god. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to trying Jet Force, but we have some Jet Force.
We have
news
some
on
news,
that front.
yeah.
So let's take the next call.
Well, I just wanted to say, Live and Reloaded, the disparate artistic elements like the animation, the music, certainly the visuals, were all incredible improvements over the original, but there were also some strange changes like the baseball bat, like Van Helsing, that in a way, and the censorship, of course, which is notorious, sort of detracted from the original experience in a way that it was like the uncanny valley of Conker's Bad Fur Day, and I could never get that taste out of my mouth. So I didn't finish that. I hit a wall with that game.
Yeah,
but I didn't want to leave that conversation without saying that like there were disparate disciplines in that game that were obvious improvements over the original. I think it didn't come together.
That's what I'm saying. I think revisiting it now, you might not have the same problems. It'd be an interesting experiment.
It would, yeah. I have no means of playing that game right now.
That's true. Anyway, Thank you, Say.
Thank you. Next caller.
Hello, DK Vine. This is DKBK362 here, and there is yellow sludge on my cake, but I'm going to eat it anyways.
Okay.
Anyways, my question is, when do you think Conker's Big Reunion Episode 2 will come out? Thank you.
Well,
okay.
Thank you.
It's sort of zigged and zagged in there a little bit.
I'm worried about. I hope he's okay after eating that yellow cake.
You didn't give him a cookbook, did you?
Did we go to war over yellow cake that didn't really exist?
What?
Iraq. There was all that yellow cake. Remember?
Oh, the yellow cake uranium. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking if there was like some Banana Republic, like the Banana Wars that I've only just learned about in the last 5 years or so that was over yellow cake.
I'm shocked we haven't gotten a Donkey Kong game called like Donkey Kong Country, the Banana Wars.
I mean, I guess in a way the French Revolution was fought over cake.
That's not historically accurate.
Look, I saw Sofia Coppola's Marie Antoinette movie. All right.
Okay, but that's in that version of Earth history. Sure, they said let them eat cake, but just like there was really no Gandalf and Frodo frolicking around the fields of Middle Earth.
What?
I'm saying that's a fictitious version of Earth history, but it still takes place on Earth.
Have you heard about the these like pygmy humans that have been found somewhere in the Philippines that they've called like the Hobbit human?
That was like 14 years ago they found those.
Oh, okay. Well, there was a recent discovery that I heard about on the.
If you weren't so drunk at the time, you would have heard about it.
Oh God, no. There was a newer like genus of them that was recently discovered. That basically the big discovery was that they coexisted alongside. I want to say Homo erectus. So like they thought that they had died off long before, but apparently there was like on a few islands in the Philippines there was some parallel existence between modern humans and Hobbit humans, which was kind of cool. And that was from the last couple of years. Well,
just wake me up when they find the talking gorillas and monkeys, because that's the island discovery I'm waiting for.
What have you? They discovered those in 1995. Have you not seen Congo?
They discovered those in 1994. Have you not played Donkey Kong Country?
Donkey, good. Gorilla. Tickle donkey. Donkey.
I'm sorry, you're the only son of a bitch I know who makes Congo references, so I'm not going to engage that.
Dike Bike, stop eating my yellow cake. That's an extremely clever Congo reference for fans of that film.
Michael Crichton is dead, so unfortunately you're the last one remaining.
Tim Curry appreciated that one.
Yeah.
And we all know he's a fan.
So anyway, what the fuck was this question? Oh, Conker's big reunion. Okay.
Yeah.
So when do we? I don't know. I know Team Dakota. Somebody tweeted at them the other day. Maybe it was you, DKBK, and they responded. They still have no update on Conker. Brian Perry.
It was actually Brian Perry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although he said no updates as of now for our furry friend, which
so,
I liked framing it that way.
So he's still friends with them. So
right.
I admit I'm a little bit worried. It's been radio silence since the last update on when they patched over a lot of the issues with the episode 1.
What was that, in March, in February, somewhere around there?
No, it was wasn't it March or April?
Okay, right? April. So even more recent than that. So it's only been 3 months.
I know.
Change.
I know. I guess we were just expecting a lot speedier of a process, and maybe that was just misguided on our part. But we were thinking, oh yeah, we'll definitely get one. Around E3 time, we'll get episode 2, and whatever.
Well, I know that it's taking Secret Agent Squirrel. Is that his name? Who's doing Conker's Pocket Tales HD and Project Spark?
Yeah.
It's taking him ages to manipulate Project Spark to his liking, and he's doing a phenomenal job on it. Really, he's using Spark's coding engine in ways that it wasn't meant to be used for the inventory and the save system. But it does take a while, is my point. So yeah, I'm sure that I would be surprised if they're not working on episode 2. Maybe we'll see something at Gamescom, perhaps. I don't know, but
I don't know. I'm sure they are working on it. I just I know there's been some fear on the DK Vine forum that we obviously we don't have access to how well episode 1 sold.
Yeah, that's true. They do kind of have that Netflix ratings obscurity.
So there's a little bit of fear, especially with how volatile the reaction was to the whole concept of Conker and Project Spark. Obviously,
it made me bleed out of my nose in a hilarious fashion.
We've already established that the DK Vine way is bleeding out of your dick. That's the DK Vine twist.
That is not ever going to be on a T-shirt.
The DK Vine twist with the bloody dick on it?
Yeah, with a bloody
I like
dick.
That.
Yep. Nor is that a dance step. Do the DK Vine twist.
We should sell some boxer briefs that it says the DK Vine twist, and then it has a bloody member on it.
Yeah,
Bloody
Men can
Johnson.
menstruate too.
Well, if you yank it hard enough.
Oh God, why? We should be trying to class up this joint, and yet here you always come in with the sexual gore.
I'm just providing life advice. It's just it's advice for your soul. Do not yank it so it bleeds unless you want to.
Wow. So did we answer your call?
So I hopefully we'll hear something in the next couple months. I expect we'll get episode 2 by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's my hope as well. All right, let's take the next call because Hyle is making me uncomfortable.
I can give you another cookbook.
Yar, this be Huntlock from Offerty Forum. I be calling, blowing on through with me bales and sails to get me face on a piece of eight balloon for that video game adaptation, Nacho Libre.
What?
Yar,
Huh?
I just be pirating and voting and all the kinds of things for the rubies and the diamonds, so it would be really nice to get an extra piece of eight in a digital sense since the me ship wrecked about the last weekend, yes. So, give me a call back. Again, this is Hotman from Property Forum, and I be a pirate 24/7 all day. This never stops. Goodbye.
What the fuck was that?
Did you understand any of that?
Okay, yeah, I got a little of it. Okay, so it was Rockhawk from the forum, and
It was Rock?
Yeah, they said it was Rockhawk.
Why was he doing a pirate voice?
Did we ever have a pirate contest like 2 years ago? Where
Did we ever? Yes, last summer.
Okay, yeah, and okay, so what it sounded like is he wanted to get his face on a doubloon from Lobo Destroyo. Was that the nature of our contest?
Oh my God! How do you not remember this? We had this big pirate, talk like a pirate day contest.
Yeah, I'm constantly gear switching throughout the day, constantly. So I have found that it fucks with my long-term memory a bit. In that, I don't know, things. It takes repetition to sink in because I'm constantly multitasking. It has royally fucked with my memory a bit. So
yeah, 10 listeners got their faces in Lobo Destroyo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so I think
and they had to talk like a pirate.
Okay,
talk
yes,
like a pirate, be a video game superstar.
That's right. Okay. See, I knew it was out there somewhere. I just didn't remember the branding.
This dominated our show last summer. I don't know how you don't remember it.
Well, I did take my sabbatical shortly thereafter. Actually, no, it was during that time, wasn't it? It was you and Joe.
Well, we kicked it off, and then you took your sabbatical, but you came back for the Talk Like a Pirate Day episode.
Okay. Anyway, that whole period of time was sort of a crazy whirlwind for me. So, it didn't sink in. I'm sorry, Hyle. Jeez, you take it so personally when I don't remember the exact specific details of one little thing. You could, just jog my memory and we can move on with the episode, but instead you're like, I can't believe you don't remember it. I don't have a good memory. Let's move on.
I remember the good times we had together, and I'm sorry if they weren't important for you and you just don't remember them. I don't know.
Yeah, our Talk Like a Pirate Day was among our greatest accomplishments. Not the Emmy we won.
We really are an old married couple at this point.
Would you just once get me a beer without calling me an alcoholic? Just once. I don't want to get up off the sofa, Hyle.
To be fair, I called you more of a sexual offender this week.
It's the alcohol that I take exception with. So
wait, are we sure this wasn't a rock call that's been in our data bank for a year? Why is it now?
Okay, it was sent at 9:14 p.m. on July 29th. This is not an old call unless Google just all of a sudden a cron job caught up and they shot it out. I don't know.
Does he live in proximity to a black hole? Is it just now reaching us? Time dilation?
This is one of the aliens from off of Contact finally reaching back to us.
I would have also accepted an Interstellar joke.
Oh, fair enough. I was thinking for some reason in my mind, Interstellar was also a Carl Sagan property, but no, it just seems like one.
It's just Matthew McConaughey.
There's the connective tissue. That's right. Yeah. Well, all right. all right. Rock, I don't know what to tell you, but maybe this is a good opportunity for us to give as much of a Lobo Destroyo update as we possibly can without stepping on Jamie's toes.
Yes, let's not step on Jamie Guy's toes. So,
because Hyle and I are writing on the project.
Yeah,
so
people have been wondering what's going on with Lobo Destroyo. What's the update? What's the dealio?
Well, progress is continuing, and we have seen some preliminary gameplay, and it's strange because we've been coming at it from working with concept art and with the missions that Jamie and the team have laid out to sort of write the dialogue, but we haven't got to see much of the game. But now it feels like a real game, which is really cool to see. So we'll let them give you more details about all that. But I guess so in the last week or so, Ouya was bought out by Razer, and Lobo Destroyo had participated as part of their Kickstarter campaign in the Free the Games fund. My memory does work.
Which to me, the Free the Games thing always just sounded so skeevy because it sounded like a drunk frat guy would say, oh yeah, release the titties, or Free the
Games, really?
Yeah. In my mind, that's what it sounds like.
I just think it's ironic that a Free the Games fund would require the game to exclusively come out on the Ouya for a period of time. There's a bit of irony baked into that, but
yeah, we won't get into it too much.
No. And by the way, the views of Hyle and myself do not represent Left-Handed Studios. We should
absolutely
also say that.
Absolutely not.
Please, for the love of God, don't paint them with the same brush as us. Just the dialogue of their characters. There's some good stuff in there. I think you guys will enjoy. Anyway, what it seems like is that with Ouya getting sold to Razer, no one knew what would become of Free the Games fund, which basically matched any Kickstarter donations up to $50,000. So for Lobo Destroyo, that means about $35,000 extra. They thought they lost that when Ouya was sold. There was a big hubbub, and it seems like if it's not finalized, at least Razer is reaching out, or someone higher up in their organization said they will honor the Free the Games fund.
The CEO, right? Yeah.
We just at this point don't know if there was a cutoff, if the playable beta needed to already be delivered. There's a lot of fine print that we don't know about yet, but I think the takeaway though is regardless of what happens with Razer and Free the Games fund, progress has never stopped on Lobo Destroyo. We've just all been plowing through and continuing. With the reduced scope from earlier in the year, the game is now, it's going to get made and released regardless of what happens with Free the Games, and it's a much more manageable scope, especially for a first-time team.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been saying, it's a shame about Yooka-Laylee, like that takes a lot of the thunder out of your clouds, but no, not really. It's actually, I think everybody at Left-Handed is pretty relieved the Yooka-Laylee came along, because now the pressure is off them to really deliver the renaissance of 3D platforming. Now it can just do its own thing without having all of this burden of history on its shoulders. So,
yeah, we're all super chuffed about Yooka-Laylee and can't wait for that one to come out. And it's more the merrier now with 3D platformers. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm excited about. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about Lobo.
Did you forget the title of Lobo Destroyo?
Well, because
La Liga de los Villanos.
Because Rock purposely botched it.
He called it Nacho Libre. Yes.
Yeah, so then I was like, wait a second. Am I having memory issues? Yeah.
So anyway, I can't wait to get back to writing Guacamelee. So
yeah, absolutely. So. Let's get to thank you for the call, Rock. I guess I don't know. Did you even did you enter the contest last year? What? I don't know. I'm not
now whose memory is failing him.
Yeah, I don't remember the people who won. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's talk about the news, including Kevin Callahan. But we got to save Kevin Callahan for last because that's the climax. That's us making the pages of the Bible stick together at the end.
Wow,
So
a Kevin Callahan climax is the most disappointing sexual romp of all time.
I know, because think. I mean, it's cold up in Minnesota, so the shrinkage alone would mean that you're only half cocked. I'm sure.
Ooh, maybe we can like sick the Red Letter Media guys on Kevin Callahan. See if they can uncover something.
They're in Milwaukee.
I thought they were in Minneapolis. No, okay.
No, it's
Milwaukee
Milwaukee
is Wisconsin, right? Yeah, that's where Happy Days was.
Happy Days in Laverne and Shirley. Yeah.
Schlemiel, Schlemazel. Let's get on to some news.
So, as we mentioned before, Rare Replay is dropping on Tuesday.
I hate that.
In rap parlance.
Yes.
Yo, it's hitting the streets. Rare Replay coming at you. Solar Jetman in your face.
That was my dude Illigence voice.
Was it?
Rest in
Okay.
peace. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we know Soulja Boy might be buying Rare Replay, so
Soulja Boy, yeah, he was some of Rare's staff got to meet Soulja Boy at E3.
yeah.
Wasn't he standing like on a scooter or an apple box so that he could be just as tall as Rash?
Yeah, apparently on the street you cannot be outclassed in height by a Battletoad.
Yo, that's why we got an entourage. Someone's got to carry my apple box.
So,
Soulja Boy out.
should you be doing that voice?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. Okay, yeah. I don't know anymore. Is it offensive? Is it not? I don't know. Anyway,
No, I don't care.
You don't care. Okay.
Look, I'm not gonna get into like racial caricature. I was just doing like a gangsta voice. Come on.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let that one be.
Thank you.
So Rare had a bunch of Twitch streams throughout the week. Although, like, they had their debut Twitch stream was technically on Wednesday, which is the one I watched, but apparently they affiliated with another Twitch channel and did one before that.
Yeah, there was one with Extreme Gaming or something. I know I'm butchering
Rare Extreme?
No, it was not a Rare Extreme. Finally, they got to do their tour of Rare HQ. Oh, they spent a lot of good time on the recreation staircase. No, it was some other Twitch stream that I think it was basically Rare kind of piloting their Twitch capabilities, and it went off without a hitch. The next day, they hosted another stream on their own channel, and in case you weren't already sick of Adam Park, they did no. It's been really nice seeing him on there.
Although he left halfway through and was replaced by Robin Beanland.
That's right. Yeah. Well, Robin didn't show up immediately. It was like he left. Adam Park left. Then the camera angle was switched, so there was this giant Conquer statue looming over the proceedings menacingly.
The same one we hugged at E3.
Was it? I didn't check the eyelids.
Yeah, the eyelids were cut off, but I assume it's the same one. It looked from the bottom down. Trust me, from the bottom down, it looked identical. If you know what I mean. If you know what I mean.
You never forget your first squirrel. And then so it was like he was replaced, and then Conquer was there, and it seemed like the two events were related. But then Robin Beanland showed up. But then on Friday they had a 6-hour marathon stream with the people. Well, I think they invited a lot of people. There was one UK based Rare fan site that was invited. There was IGN Xbox was there, which, believe it or not, or IGN UK rather. IGN UK seems a lot cooler than our IGN. Like they released a video and it looked like they were just fun-loving fans, which was really, really strange to see from an Imagine Games Network property.
They just weren't douchey video game journalist in quotes.
Quote unquote. No.
Hashtag Gamergate.
Oh no. No. They actually. They weren't being snarky about Grab by the Ghoulies. They weren't being unnecessary dickholes. Yeah, which was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So good job, IGN UK. And obviously Rare staff was there for 6 hours going through every single game in Rare Replay. So Rare has definitely launched its its Twitch streaming in a big way.
Well,
And-
Rare has definitely also come out of the shadows finally. I feel like this era of Rare that kicked off at E3 is the era of not transparency, because of course a lot of things are still secret, but they're a lot more open to sharing things.
Right.
Well, there are also things they can share, but it's not just being obtuse for the sake of it.
And it's not even just sharing things, but it's also finally putting the creators of these games and worlds front and center. And previously, all it was a first initial and a last name in the game credits. And that's all you got. And usually it didn't even have what the role was. Sometimes it would tell you, L. Loveday wrote the spell book. But what the hell is spellbook? Is that the dialogue? Is that the game manual?
And that was by design. But yeah, it's
right.
So I mean, yeah, I like that. Like now we have the chance to have like Rare being recognized as actual people and not just this brand. And it's really helpful too, I think, towards rehabilitating the image of the studio in the eyes of the more fair-weathered gamers who the ones who say everybody good at Rare left. They went to form Free Radical, or everybody good at Rare left. They made Platonic.
Why don't you sell your company to Nintendo? Where's Banjo? Where's Banjo? Where's Banjo?
You guys need to go back to Nintendo. That would be good. Why don't you go back to Nintendo? You should do that. That's from me. I gave you that advice.
I want royalties on that one. Yeah.
So I think seeing these people in the flesh and having them interact with fans is a great thing, and I think it's really going to help slowly put that awful meme to bed.
Yeah, is that really? Does that qualify as meme now?
It's a meme in our circles, but it definitely exists. I mean, it's
factually inaccurate and counterproductive. Rare hatred is a meme.
Yeah, and the especially the meme that everybody good at Rare left after blank.
Yeah.
Fill in the blanks, but yeah.
Yeah, isn't it funny how everyone good at Rare left to form Free Radical, and then everyone good at Rare left to form Platonic like 10 years later?
Well, it depends what you're into. If you're into the if you're into the first-person shooter games, then it's Free Radical. If you're into Banjo, then it's Platonic.
Yeah, I just think it's hilarious that there are multiple points at which everyone good at Rare has left.
Yeah, I mean, there's no narrative that everybody shares, but everybody has their own personal beliefs as to why, and it's built on just logical fallacies, but that's what the internet is. So
that's what the internet.
No, that's not even the internet. That's human nature. That's you look at our politics, you look at our national debate, our national conversations, international conversations, and it's just built on bizarrely shaped personal beliefs, like mine, that you're somehow
an alcoholic sex offender. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say a pedophile who engages a little bit too much in the communion wine, but
well, yeah, I think that the internet has certainly sped up the spreading of these logical fallacies.
Right, because the internet
anonymized them.
The internet allows you to share your logical fallacies with others. So it definitely creates
it doesn't matter how illogical your logical fallacies are, because you don't have to put your face on them or your name, really.
Right. So anyway, so it's great to see. We learned some news from these streams, or news that had been alluded to that we could merely ascertain before, but we got some concrete information now. So Jet Force Gemini, not a DKU game, but we've talked about it on this show, and
it's part of our honorable mentions.
And it's part of this larger collective that it features a ton of DKU games, so I feel like it's worth mentioning. And the Jet Force Gemini's controls have always been a subject of not controversy, but definitely debate, and it's been something that's kept a lot of people from getting into the original N64 game.
Well, I think as they were rightly pointing out on the stream, Jet Force Gemini is sort of I don't know if it's the first third-person shooter, but to me it feels like the first one that was kind of fully realized as a concept that I can remember ever seeing.
Wait, it's not the first first-person shooter, is
third.
Third. Oh, yeah. That's what I meant.
Because of course there's been Doom and Wolfenstein, and those guys really
right. But is it really the first? That can't be the first third-person shooter. That doesn't sound right.
It's probably not the first.
It doesn't sound right at all to me.
But it's definitely one of the earliest, and it definitely it charted a lot of new territory with the control scheme for that, because you had the mode where you could use the control stick to move and it sort of auto aimed for you, but then for hitting snipers and looking around and doing some more clever stuff, you could essentially turn it into a first person mode where your character would go semi-transparent and you used the C buttons to move forward, backward, left and right, and strafe left and right. And that was the advanced control scheme, and I always preferred it because you definitely have a lot more control over what you're doing, but it takes a lot more kind of thinking about the buttons. But now, basically what they said on the Twitch stream is that as they were playing the game, it didn't seem like it was working, and they couldn't figure out why until they realized third-person shooters are now almost as common as first-person shooters. We're in an era of Gears of War, of Mass Effect. They're third-person shooters have, like, culturally, we've decided that this is how they play, and it's very different from how Jet Force Gemini played. So they actually went into Jet Force Gemini and created a completely separate, quote-unquote, modern control scheme that allows you to have full second stick support in the same way that you would play a modern third-person shooter. And I can't fucking wait to get my hands on these controls. Unfortunately, it's something they don't have in time for launch, so it will be one of their first patches post-release.
Yeah, which is really cool. And And this was one of the questions we had at E3 for them. What are you going to do about the controls for Jet Force Gemini? And
we kept asking, and they gave us sort of like coy, like, I don't think we have anything to talk about there.
Yeah, so it's good to see. And I'm glad that they're not doing a subpar job with it and trying to get it ready for launch. This is, as much as I complain about things, like patches being the norm now and game updates, at the very least, I'm glad they are waiting till it's ready and they're not trying to shoehorn it into the out of the box release.
Yeah,
so.
And it's not like this. It's not like they're releasing a broken game and then patching it in production. They're releasing a fully playable game and enhancing it in production. So
yeah, so
nothing wrong with that.
I'm not going to be checking out Jet Force probably in Rare Replay until the controls, the patches comes through, because I don't think my mind can wrap around the N64 controls from '99. So
yeah, I was immediately really worried about that one because my disdain for N64 to Wii U mapping is well documented. And I really didn't want to see Jet Force fall into that same pit, because that's a game that I really want that one to be one of the standouts that people play when they play Rare Replay, similar to Ghoulies. I think Ghoulies and Jet Force really deserve a second life more than any of, at least my personal opinion, more than any of the other IPs on there. So I would love to potentially one day see some Jet Force love result in demand for a Jet Force sequel.
Wow. See, I'm hoping, like, I'm in it for the Ghoulies love. Like, I want Ghoulies to finally be recognized as one of the best games of...
Yeah, same here.
Of the last decade, but I have no aspirations or delusions that there's ever going to be a sequel. So
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if the control scheme is frustrating, then that would be the end of the conversation. But at least people will get to enjoy the game without constantly being pulled out of the experience.
Right.
Yeah. And maybe a sequel. Hey, the next sign on the Zodiac, what's wrong with Jet Force Cancer? What's wrong with making a Jet Force Cancer?
That was a joke we had back in the day. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's just as good as Star Fox Adventures Walrus World.
So we also got a question answered about Bad Fur Day, because Bad Fur Day was not one of the games playable on the show floor at E3.
Right.
So we were wondering what's going to happen with the chainsaw intro, where he cuts through the N64 logo. Turns out they've cut it entirely.
Yep, they've chainsawed through those first 5 seconds of Bad Fur Day.
So it now just starts with what Rare presents, and then it goes into the whole.
Did it even have the red text that comes up at the screen and said for mature audiences only? I didn't notice.
I don't remember, but they had to cut the Nintendo references,
right?
So.
Of course.
So it starts much later than it did, and it goes right into Conquer on the Throne, Clockwork Orange, style. So
I guess that's preferable to what they did with the XBLA Banjo-Kazooie.
Right. So they didn't replace it with any Microsoft logos. So they just basically trimmed it. I think this is the only.
I'm referring more to what happens in the very, very beginning of Banjo-Kazooie, where there's the N64 logo is supposed to be walking around, and you hear the sound effects for it, but it's not there.
Oh, okay.
They just removed it entirely. Like, if they had done the same with Conquer, he would have just been sawing through air.
Yeah, they should at least had like an X walking around or something. But,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good, and especially for a Rare Replay where they're trying to preserve the original games as much as possible. It's not like the Xbox Live Arcade Banjos where they're updated.
It is a little strange though, because we have established, for the purposes of the Donkey Kong universe, the Nintendo 64 logo is a character,
Yeah.
Now, in Conker's Bad Fur Day Rare Replay, What was it? What do we call her? Ann 64 or something like that?
What you guys call her? I absolve myself from any of this tomfoolery.
There was a long. It's not tomfoolery. Well, it is, but there was a very long, drawn out debate in the full view of the DK Vine forum with forum members that fancy themselves, DKU legalists, where it was determined that there were both sides of this argument that the N64 logo is anthropomorphized and animated enough to be considered as much a character as some of the less animate elements of the DKU. So. Yeah, and then she met her brutal end at the hands of Conquer the Squirrel. So yeah, that character now does not appear in Rare Replay's Conker's Bad Fur Day
because it's the Nintendo 64 logo. I mean, it can't. Okay, anyway,
I know, but it's just it's a strange.
There's nothing strange about it. It's an N64
I'm not
logo.
saying it's strange from a real world legal point of view. I mean, it's strange for how are we going to categorize that character's appearance, because
even if you say that's a real character, then this doesn't retroactively erase the N64 adventures. This is just
not.
No, those still happen, but they just can't show that character in this game.
Yeah, I guess the only difference now is that that event of Conker cutting her in half it happened. It just it's not being seen in this one. Yeah. These are important things, Hyle.
I'm getting too old for this. So anyway, moving on. They've also clarified once again that they're, I guess, kind of open to DLC as adding other games to Rare Replay down the line. Of course, they can't be too. They have to be slightly non-committal about this because they can't just say, "Yeah, sure, we'll do it. Why not? Sounds like a great idea." But this was in the Wednesday Twitch stream. One of the members on our forum who just called us earlier in the episode, DKBK362, he started an "It's Mr. Pants" petition.
Yeah.
So if you go to the DK Vine forum, you can find a link to that.
I think their threshold is 100 signatures, which is a little more attainable than our Chief Blotison's campaign.
But you're not going to get anybody's attention with 100 signatures.
Right.
It needs to be 1 million.
We've got the attention of a few Rare employees who liked on Twitter the petition.
In the Twitch stream, they were commenting about how much love It's Mr. Pants was getting in the chat, and they were all surprised. And they were like, no, Mr. Pants is a very popular character, so it was good to see.
Yeah, I don't know that he's a very popular character, but
among the rare fan base, he's a very popular
I think
character.
perhaps DK Vine insane people are disproportionately vocal about Mr. Pants. But hey, let's not mince words here.
He's a very popular character in the rare fan base. Let's just
all
leave
right.
it at that.
Let's leave it at that. Hey, in whatever way, whatever it takes to get It's Mr. Pants to see the light of day again, I'm all for it.
Yeah, although I'm not looking forward to beating Muddle Mode again. So part of me is hoping that this petition falls on deaf ears.
Yeah, like, can't you just re-release the mobile edition? Come on.
Yeah, seriously, the mobile edition was hard enough, man. That took me a solid 4 days to beat. So.
Well, let's see. There was one more bit of Conquer news that it was sort of related to the production that came out in the 6-hour Twitch stream that I thought was incredibly interesting. You know how the script for Conquer's Bad Fur Day always said it was written by Chris Seaver and Robin Beanland? And we never kind of, I always assumed, I didn't know where that division was, whether it was just, Robin helped with Chucky Poo's Lament, or I didn't know how that broke down. Louise O'Connor gave some insight into how Conquer was written. Did you get to see this part of the stream?
I don't know. Maybe.
When they were playing Bad Fur Day? So it was really interesting. Basically, they just had these vague ideas of what the missions would be, and
I remember this. Yeah.
Chris and Robin would get into a recording booth and just scat, they would just go on.
Literally, there's a lot of scat involved.
There was for
a lot of scat
for
play.
The Soprano chapter, yeah. No, but they would basically improv for presumably hours until they basically had something that could be cobbled together into the script for the game.
So this was basically a Judd Apatow movie.
This is insane to me that Conquer's Bad Fur Day wound up having as cohesive a narrative as it did, based entirely on the backs of an improv script.
Well, I'm sure parts of the script were more scripted than they're letting on, because you look at Spooky, and that's just taken verbatim from Bram Stoker's Dracula. You know,
but there's some of that could be improv though. It's surprising that it didn't wind up like the Rick D. Minutes episode of Rick and Morty. Have you? I know I introduced you to Rick and Morty at E3. Have you watched any more of it?
I haven't seen that episode. No.
Oh, well, season 2 started. You got to get. On the train,
I've got to watch a lot of things. I don't have as much
Rick
time.
and Morty should be. Rick and Morty's top of your list.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a busy guy. I'm sorry.
Look, I've already watched the Wet Hot American Summer thing. You can plow through 3 hours of Rick and Morty over the. Anyway,
okay. Where am I going to find all this time to play video games, do DK Vine stuff, maintain my relationship with my girlfriend who lives 2.5 hours away?
Just don't play any video games until Rare Replay comes out. Watch Rick and Morty, and then you'll be fine. Because after Rare Replay, there's going to be no time for anything.
I'm going to make myself a drink and.
So anyway,
be arrested for some sex crimes. Anyway,
Rick D. Minutes. The premise is that they have a DVR, like a cable box that can allow them to watch TV from any universe in the world, any reality. And so the production was that it was basically Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland improving these crazy fucking scenarios, like TV shows and ads and movie trailers, and then they cobbled them together and animated them. And that's the A story of the show, is just watching all these crazy TV stations. And of course there's a B story narrative, but it obviously comes across as something that was improv, and the characters even remark on that in the show. But I'm surprised that Bad Fur Day doesn't feel that way.
Well, and again, I mean, I'm sure they did it for some sections, like Dung Beetle's dialogue and other things, but I think they had more concrete scenarios planned out ahead of time than they're letting on, or that we're interpreting. I mean, well, I don't know. And also the bad thing to all of this information coming out now is that memories get weaker over time. Things start fading through history, and so I'm sure things aren't remembered as precise as they could have been.
Right.
So I don't know.
I'm glad also that Louise O'Connor confirmed that the Scouser Beatles thing was an intentional reference.
Of course it was an intentional how could it not be an intentional reference?
Well, it does marry up very nicely. Dung Beatles, the Soprano chapter. I have such a hard time with that one. That it might have been something that just sort of lined up, and it was a funny English voice, because there's no dearth of those in Conker's Bad Fur Day.
No, but it's based on the scene in the Beatles anthology where Paul's being interviewed in an outhouse.
Yes, of course. How could I have forgotten that famous interview setting?
Yeah, he was down in the pit and wallowing in a shit, and
and said, somebody called for me.
Drinking some tea. Anyway, so yeah. And anything else from the stream?
I was like, "Hey Ringo, how you doing there?" Like,
okay. Anything else from the stream we can discuss?
I'm sorry, you don't like my Paul McCartney impression. No, there was, let's see, Banjo news. So Greg Mayles came on at the beginning of the 6-hour marathon and said that, and he referred to Banjo as the character from Dream, and we had always, I think, assumed that it was Edson, and then when it turned into Banjo-Kazooie, before Kazooie ever entered the picture, that's when it turned into a bear. But maybe there was some overlap where...
I think there's overlap. I think it's been established at one point, at the tail end of Dream, Banjo was a thing, and then it just... they dropped the Dream moniker entirely. I don't know. Was Dream ever the official title for Dream, or did the codename carry on into Banjo-Kazooie before, I don't know. This is all just historical, minor details, and it's
yeah. I just thought it was an interesting note, and then I had to go edit all the Witch Brothers Bears, so I didn't get to finish the stream, or the parts of it I didn't get to watch in real time. So I'm sure there's a lot more tidbits that we'll be unpacking. God, it was 6 hours. I did see Craig Duncan do a studio tour of Rare, which that's a crazy sentence to say that I, like 4 months ago, would never have expected. The head of Rare gave a studio tour of Rare on the internet. That's amazing. I love how open they are now.
Did he have a bowling alley installed? I really hope he had a bowling alley installed.
Like the reverse Obama White House.
Yeah, well, Craig Duncan is a noted bowling enthusiast.
That's true, right? The best bowling ever.
Right.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I do know they have a football pitch that one of the Xbox UK people was made to put on the banjo costume and run around on the football pitch. So.
Kind of worries me that they have a banjo costume at the ready. Like, what do they get up to at Rare?
Look, hey, as long as Twycross has a good dry cleaner, let's not judge.
And now I'm the one who's making inappropriate semen-based references.
What? Oh, what? I'm just implying that they probably need to clean that thing because I'm sure it gets sweaty. I don't know where your mind was.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of,
wow, you are a filthy human. I've been trying to clean up the show a bit, or at least clean up my sense of humor, and holy shit, man, you are a dirty motherfucker.
Speaking of wank rags, there's new Rare T-shirts from Insert Coin Tees.
Whoa!
I'm saying I'm saying you could use them. You could use them for many purposes. Hopefully,
let's have a second take at that.
Okay.
Why don't not like a legitimate one where we have to just stop the show and edit it, but I'm gonna allow you a mulligan on introducing the concept of Rare merchandise via Insert Coin Tees.
I'm saying there's many ways you could use them. I'm not advocating it.
And you're doubling down. You're rejecting my mulligan and doubling down on the wank rags.
I'm just saying. Hopefully you would wear them as a shirt. That's their primary purpose.
Wow. So there's a company, a UK-based merchandiser called Insert Coin Tees that does a lot of apparel for various video game companies and developers, and they've partnered up with Rare, and the first wave has been announced. So having seen those, there's some Perfect Dark, some Banjo, Viva Pinata, Conker. What's your take on the designs thus far?
I mean, it's great to see rare merchandise again.
In an official capacity.
Yeah, and maybe I've been spoiled by the unofficial T-shirts out there because, like Fangamer, of course, some others. Yeah, it's. I don't want to say it's underwhelming because I don't want to like.
That's exactly the word I would use, though. I mean, look, we're super enthusiastic about all this stuff, but let's, if you have an opinion, don't sit on it. Call a spade a spade. I think they are pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, Potsy, don't sit on it. I don't know. I think like what I like in video game merchandise is like the obscure, like obscureness to it, where it's not like Hot Topic shirts, and it's the discussion
you
we had.
Mean the famous Keep Calm in Doctor Who?
Well, as we referenced in our Fangamer interview last season.
Yeah,
I like things that people outside of the fandom wouldn't know, but anybody who sees you wearing it will be like, oh yeah, it's like just a calling card. It's like the hanky in the back pocket. Only people in the know are gonna be privy to what you're selling. So and this is just my personal preference as a consumer and as somebody who would wear video game shirts. But yeah, it's very like sports jersey based.
That's my main criticism. I mean, there are two of the articles of clothing that I think are particularly good. One is a black shirt with a Rare logo, and you can't go wrong with that.
No.
The other one are these Viva Pinata leggings that cover the entirety of the leggings, and while I can not pull that look off,
Have you tried? Have you even tried?
I have worn. I have squeezed my sausages that double as legs into.
I was like, "Where's this going?"
Some of Janelle's. It's basically the visual is mince being stuffed into a sausage casing for some of Janelle's leggings. And
wait, what were you doing wearing her clothing?
I thought we were doing laundry, and I thought it would be a funny visual.
Okay.
Yeah, such is married life. Anyway, no, so that's the one time I've ever worn leggings. But no, I think the Viva Pinata ones are hilarious. But yeah, the other ones just they seem kind of uninspired. It's there, and the message is muddled. It's like Conquer, Live and Reloaded 64, established 97. Like I don't know it.
What does that even mean? Like
I don't know what it means.
Yeah, Conquered, I guess, debuted in 97, but
yeah, I mean, I don't want to harp too hard on this, because yeah, it is really nice to see rare merchandise, but it seems like they're just kind of taking a character and putting some sports jersey kind of fonts on there, which, I mean, hey, speaking of the handkerchief in the back pocket, I would have loved to have seen like a Jolly's Bar shirt advertising Grab a Sailor Night. They're every Wednesday at Jolly's, come get your semen surprise and grab a sailor.
Do you think Jolly has that cookbook?
I think it might have been gifted by Mary Maggie Mulpus. I think they hope maybe in Wave 2 there might be some more creative uses of these very rich, fertile grounds for all these intellectual properties, but to me so far it doesn't seem like they've quite given it what it should be. How's
there not Mr. Pants briefs available? That's like Nintendo not making a Donkey Kong tie yet.
I did request that on Facebook, and I don't think they had a specific comment to that for obvious reasons.
Probably not. No.
That would be glorious to see one day. With crayoned on Y fronts. I hope that this is not indicative of their entire line, but I think something more artistically interesting
but that's
be welcomed.
Looking at their other output, non-rare output, that seems to be in line with what they produce. That's the style of clothing. So
I do like the Perfect Dark one. I think that's closest to what I would hope for, where rather than it being a Perfect Dark shirt, it's a Datadyne shirt.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But just having Conker's face with some sports jersey fonts on it, and I don't know. it's not doing it for me in the same way that some of the more creative, unlicensed designs from places like Fangamer, there was even this one that was part of this Animal Buddies shirt that was part of Summer Games Done Quick.
Yeah.
I don't recall. I bought it immediately, but I can't remember who it was that was selling it.
The Yeti?
Yes,
it's like,
Yetis. Yeah.
It's like Yeti, but with a T-shirt instead.
It's funny. So these places that can't officially use these intellectual properties, they have to find creative ways around them. In doing so, it almost forces them to be more artistically interesting. So
yeah. And plus we like a lot of the in-universe shirts again. So you could get away with some of that. Like I'm still holding out hope for a Ted's Boats shirt from Fangamer.
Yeah, keep holding out hope for that one.
At least 2 people would buy that. So
I think I know exactly who those 2 people are.
Right, I would buy. I would buy 2. Right, like my Diddy Kong shirt that I own 2 of.
Well, one of them's got to serve as a wank rag, right?
Well, that goes without saying. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't start out that way, but accidents happen.
No, Jesus.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, we hope to see more from Insert Coin Tees, and as we said, some of the designs are nice, some leave a little bit wanting, but this is definitely not all that we're going to see. So here's to hoping there's more along the lines of what we want, because obviously we're the most important consumers.
Absolutely, we are.
These are probably going to sell way better than anything we could ever come up with.
Yeah, I want Mr. Pants briefs, and you know how well that would sell.
Right. Maybe we're not in line with the dollars and cents so much as clever in-universe game designs.
Right.
So another bit of big news that I'm sure most of our listenership is infuriated we've buried an hour and a half into the show. K. Rool showed up as a Mii costume in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, so this thing happened. I don't really have too much to say about this personally.
Are you enraged?
I'm indifferent.
Yeah, that's really all there should be.
Here's the thing. Like, I can easily get enraged about it if I try hard enough. But at this point, it's too soon to say. We don't know. We don't know a lot of things right now. The ballot is still 2 months to go. I will say that it is kind of a dick move if this in any way hurts K. Rool's chances on the ballot when there's 2 months left to go. Like, was this released as a way to get people to stop voting for K. Rool?
Well,
I don't know.
They definitely referenced K. Rool's popularity in the poll, in the tweet that they made, but it was in Japanese, so I can't entirely trust the translation. It's it's tough to say that it suggested anything one way or the other. But my whole thing is, look, people have even back in the days of Brawl, people were trying to cite historical precedent for what Sakurai was going to do, and they were largely wrong. When it came to Super Smash Brothers for Nintendo 3DS and Super Smash Brothers for Wii U, they tried to cite precedent, and they were largely wrong. It's like, and then they started to say, well, we don't know what Sakurai is going to do, and then he hewed closer to the original bone. It's just here's the only constant with Sakurai is that he is unpredictable.
He really likes Fire Emblem. Oh, wait, what?
No, what? Huh?
Anime? He really, yeah.
No, you can't predict what this guy is going to do, so stop driving yourself crazy and making everyone in the social media sphere around you sick of your insufferable whining, because maybe you're right, but it's equally as likely that you're not. There's literally no way for us to know. So I think the one thing that this suggests is that unlike some of the other Mii costumes, they actually created a pretty detailed new model for K. Rool.
Let's talk about this model real quick, because it actually, like, everybody has been thinking if K. Rool gets in a game, it's going to be the Payon model, which it's a little bit smoother than the rare model, less scaly. Right. It doesn't have the gold armor on the belly, and it's lacking a tail. This model, this costume, it's essentially the rare model.
It's both, actually.
Well, it's got one little detail from Payon, and that's
Yeah.
the blue brooch, the gem that holds the cape together.
Which is, if they were going to take any elements, I think that's the coolest one. That's something that was always kind of missing in the original K. Rool design.
Well, the rare one has a brooch, but it's very small and it's green, so it just kind of blends in.
Well, there are some renders where that's missing, and his cape is literally tucked into his armor.
Yeah. Because if you reference, the earliest renders, then you can't even see the damn brooch because it just blends into his skin so well. So I can see why that's.
Are you making? Is this like a prosthetic golfing fingers thing? Are you making up the existence of this early brooch? Because I don't know, man. I've examined early K. Rool renders, and I've never seen this.
I'm going to the DK.
Colored.
I'm going to the DK Vine gallery right now. You
all right,
bitch.
We're gonna solve this on the air. Good
you
pod.
Bitch. Yeah. Don't you give me that good pod nonsense. You.
So I think that that's the one takeaway for me. This is not a positive or a negative for K. Rool's chances, but it does.
I'm looking at it right now. It's clear as day. It's like a diamond-esque shape.
All right. Well, I don't want to click on anything and potentially and blow up my computer after the audio troubles we've had. But
you don't want to prove your arguments wrong, so you're just going to refuse to acknowledge.
No, I literally want this podcast to get released today, so I don't want to do anything to upset the delicate balance of audio drivers that this Windows box has decided to precariously maintain for the duration of recording.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, so I'll say this. This is something I said. You said your whole know not what Sakurai does spiel on the forum. This is what I said on the forum. I said, look, at the very least, what?
Nothing. I'm just saying. You're like, oh, I don't know. I can't be bothered. No, you have something to say. Okay.
Oh my God!
Well, no, earlier you said like I'm entirely apathetic about this. So
I'm apathetic about the costume itself, whatever. But no, the positive that this shows is that we did get Nintendo's attention. There wouldn't be a K. Rool costume without this ballot, and at the very least, they have been made aware of how popular the character is. So, does this mean anything for Smash Brothers? I don't know. It could be Sakurai just doesn't want to put any more Donkey Kong characters in the game because he can't be bothered. He doesn't care. He doesn't like K. Rool because it's not, whatever.
Yeah.
But it shows Nintendo that K. Rool means something. This is the first acknowledgement of K. Rool outside of his Smash Brothers trophy since the Mario baseball game he last appeared in, and that was years ago.
And bringing up that trophy though is a good point, because to me, like, a lot of the Smash Brothers DLC sort of reeks of laziness.
Absolutely, it does.
And if they were going to maintain that laziness MO of like kind of reappropriating old assets and just slapping them on top of a Mii, they would have used the K. Rool that they already have as a trophy. But this is entirely new.
They spent some effort, which makes me raise my eyebrow. Why would they go through the effort of recreating the rare design if this wasn't going to come into play? If they're not thinking ahead and saying, oh, we're going to make him a character. I don't know.
And yet the entire internet is like freaking out, doom and gloom. This destroys K. Rool's chances.
It's the internet. And there could be very good reasons for that doom and gloom. And I just say wait till the ballot's done and we've got the characters announced before
There's literally no way to know.
And anyway, so my point was we got Nintendo's attention. If K. Rool doesn't appear in the next Donkey Kong game, I will eat my dick.
Well, you have to pull a Marilyn Manson and get some ribs removed?
Absolutely, I will. You
heard it here first, folks.
Don't ask for the verification, but just rest assured that I will be eating my dick. I'm not going to make a reference to it again. It's just something that's going to happen.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, it's generally a good thing. It just, I know people are worried that this is going to upset the ballot, but hey, you still got 2 months.
Yeah.
Don't hashtag crock the vote. Go to the ballot, vote for them. If you really want to see them, don't give up the fight now, because
and you can only vote once. So, I mean, I would imagine anyone who is going to vote has largely already done so. I don't know. I don't know.
People are voting multiple times.
Oh, what do they have? Are they spoofing their IP or something?
No. They're just voting every day. It's not blocking your IP.
Oh, I thought there was something that, like, it was tied to your.
No,
really? Jesus Christ, Nintendo! You realize Nintendo? You do realize that, like, you have, like, accounts that people have created through your eShop and through Club Nintendo that you could very easily use your NNID ID to. Jesus.
Maybe I'm wrong, but from what everybody is saying, you can vote multiple times.
Oh. I think maybe there's a way to trick the system. Like, I just don't understand. Like, yes, I've worked on single sign-on projects before, and they're very complex with large user bases. But come on, Nintendo.
That should be what we rename our show. Come on,
Nintendo.
at this point, that's what it's amounting to.
Yeah. Then when Nintendo does something we like, we can just spell "come" a different way.
I'll get my insert coin tease ready.
Yeah, that was a Hyle joke.
You're welcome. I'm glad I got in your head. So, speaking of costumes, speaking of silly little costumes in Nintendo games, there's a Donkey Kong costume in Super Mario Maker, which we already knew about. If you scan your Donkey Kong amiibo, you get access to it.
We didn't already know about it beyond the fact that they said there's amiibo support.
We knew there was a Donkey Kong costume coming. We knew that much, but we hadn't seen it until this week.
I'm hoping there's also a Diddy Kong one.
I really don't know. Probably not, because nobody uses the Diddy amiibo for anything. So anyway, yeah, the Donkey
he's OP anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck that guy. The Donkey Kong costume, a lot of us thought it would just look like the arcade Cranky, the Donkey Kong Senior. Sure. So it's surprising that they created what they did. This is an 8-bit rendition of the Donkey Kong Country Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and it looks a lot better than the hacked NES ROMs of Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, those look like shit. Yeah,
yeah. People have tried to recreate it. It looks like sub Donkey Kong Land level graphics.
Yeah. Like a port of Donkey Kong Land for an inferior system. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. So thankfully, this looks a lot better than that, and the sprite is small Mario sized,
which is weird.
At least it's what we've seen in the video. Now I don't know what happens when Mario gets a mushroom.
Well, I thought this was in lieu of the mushroom, like small Mario goes into like a Nintendo costume character mode.
Oh, so like this is a power up. This is like the fire flower.
That's all this is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. I thought that this was basically a new skin for the base Mario, and then
no. This is something you have to get in game. You scan it, and then you have access to this power-up where you take on the skin of this character.
Right. I just didn't know that this was like the end state of a power-up line. I thought that this ability would just reskin you, and then you could... Okay. Well, that's a little less fun.
It's like the E3 video where Mario's moving, and then he gets a mushroom, and then he turns into Link.
Nintendo. That's a little less fun.
Yeah, so again, this isn't the actual Donkey Kong appearing in Super Mario Maker. This is just Mario wearing a Donkey Kong costume. So blissfully, we don't have to cover this game.
Right. Although, I feel like I don't have enough time to play Mario Maker, the creation side of it. I feel like I would still have a lot of fun downloading some of the more insane what are essentially ROM hacks that are now official, and playing some of those. I think that could be a lot of fun. So I don't want to just turn my nose up at Super Mario Maker.
I'm not turning my nose up at it, but quite frankly, I just don't have time to cover this game, and I'm glad that with Rare Replay and everything else, Skylanders coming out the same month.
All that Rick and Morty that you've got to watch.
God damn it. God damn you.
It's really good. It's like it's the successor to Futurama. It's really good.
I'm running out of pages in my Seaman joke book, and I've got to write new ones. And quite frankly, they're sticking together again. And
there are literally loads of Seaman jokes in Rick and Morty. So if you're looking for inspiration,
I write down my Seaman jokes in my Seaman joke book with semen. Like I don't use a pen.
That is the world's most disgusting inkwell.
I have to hold up a black light to it just to read my jokes.
It's like those old lemon juice things that you would get in like the back of a comic book. Where it's like invisible ink.
It's about time to move on to Kevin Callahan finally, but I wanted to bring up this one point. How come we've never had a scene in a James Bond movie where he has to write in invisible ink, so he uses his own semen? Because he has plenty of access to it in a James Bond movie. He's releasing like 3 or 4 times movie.
Yeah, I would like to see a James Bond movie. And by the way, the new trailer looks badass for Spectre.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
looking forward to it.
Yeah, with Christoph Waltz, like I can't wait to see him as a Bond villain. Holy shit!
Did you hear Daniel Craig's in it?
Oh no way! Really?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
He's playing James Bond.
Oh wow! They got him back.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Good for them. Shut up. I would like to see a Bond movie where like the evil organization that he's going up against is comprised of all of his bastard children from all of his adventures.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Daniel Craig reboot is you lose that history of him like just like plowing half of Europe and America for like 4 decades, you know?
Oh, because they sort of rebooted it with Skyfall, didn't they?
With like Casino Royale.
The origin story. Well, no, I mean,
Casino Royale is an origin story. It's him starting from the beginning.
Okay, yes, but a case
and it's not a prequel.
But a case could be made for James Bond being, a code name for this spy that sort of rolls throughout history. But then in Skyfall, they gave him a childhood origin story. So that kind of invalidated any of
I never
idea.
understood that theory. I mean, I understand it like in principle, but why would you give a secret agent the same fake name?
To inspire fear in his enemies.
Wouldn't that blow his cover? Oh, James Bond, that's a secret agent name. Okay.
Look, man, they can't all go in their TARDIS and pop out a new person. There's fan wanking can only go so far, and this is the best we have with James Bond.
Honestly, you could have made the case that the Daniel Craig movies were continuations of the Pierce Brosnan movies because M is the same, Judi Dench remains the same, but yeah, Skyfall kind of flushed that.
This is just as confusing as Adam's Family Values, where they still had Lurch. And yet they've entirely recast the Addams Family.
No, Addams Family Values had the same cast.
Oh, I'm sorry, Family Reunion.
Wait, they made a third one?
Yeah, there was a third. Yeah. They made a third Addams Family. And or the same could be said for Alfred the Butler, who existed through all 4 of the 90s Batman.
Alfred the Butler and Commissioner Gordon were the only cast members that stayed the same in those.
Right, yeah. So there, it's a bit strange when you have like reboots with carryover actors.
Well, Batman Forever and Robin were not reboots. They were supposed to be continuations of the Tim Burton films. But
that's true.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, they certainly were.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about
for more on rebooting universes. Listen to the episode of the Vine Donkey Kong audio program that never came out.
It's gonna come out. We'll reveal something about that soon. I have a feeling. I have a feeling in my heart.
Inside?
Yeah, I'm hooked on it.
All right.
So let's talk about the main man, the Callahan man, the Callahan, Kevin Callahan. So this is news we should have gotten 2 weeks ago, but I wanted
not.
I wanted to do it proper justice, and unfortunately, a main component of the news was Iwata himself.
You're doing it a great charity by calling it news.
This is hard news, man. This is front page of the New York Times, except we actually check our sources, and this comes from Kevin Callahan. So, I like that Kevin Callahan resurfaced almost a year after the original blog post. I hope Kevin Callahan becomes like a summer tradition like Shark Week, where like every summer he has a new blog update about Diddy Kong Racing Wii U and now Diddy Kong Racing NX, but I hope it just continues and it's just like, ooh, it's summer, here comes Kevin Callahan, I can't wait.
I have had an ass full of Kevin Callahan. It's so blindingly false that just I don't know why you still treat it as anything we should pay attention to.
Because I love the notion of Kevin Callahan itself. Like, I am less invested in the news of Diddy Kong, or excuse me, in the rumor of Diddy Kong Racing Wii U than I am the notion of Kevin Callahan himself. Kevin Callahan is the news now, not Diddy Kong Racing Wii U. So can I read the blog post? It's short.
Means.
It's short.
I don't think there's any way I could stop you.
There is absolutely not. No. So, okay, it appeared June 29th, so it's been a while now, over a month. But, yeah, suddenly it appeared. Exciting times coming next year. And when I found this out, I texted you immediately in all caps. Kevin Callahan updated his blog. And in Kevin Callahan's defense, you were excited. You replied, like, what the fuck, I think?
Yeah. Well, yes, because it had, it was one blog post on this entire blog, and it had been dormant for like a year. So yes, I was surprised, but I'm not going to give any credence to it.
All right, so I'm going to read this. Exciting times coming next year. This was shortly after E3. All right. I have an update to share with all of you on the status of Diddy Kong Racing 2, which is what he calls Diddy Kong Racing Wii U. The Diddy Kong Racing 2 project was moved over to new hardware that will be launched in 2016, which is what I said at E3.
And Diddy Kong is now replaced with Fox McCloud.
No, don't falsify this concrete Kevin Callahan blog post.
I'm sorry, I wouldn't want to confuse the listeners with false information.
The new platform is aiming for a price of $149.99 to avoid competing directly, price-wise, with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The company fears that it would be market suicide to release another overly expensive box in the middle of a console generation, when most consumers have already invested in a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. Wii U development kits are being used to develop NX software. The NX hardware is technically a Wii U, except with higher memory bandwidth and a more balanced CPU.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
For the skeptics who still don't believe that Diddy Kong Racing 2 is coming, 2 weeks ago, Nintendo confirmed that Retro Studios isn't working on a Metroid Prime title. Nintendo applied for a trademark for Diddy Kong in Europe a few weeks ago. Satoru Iwata teased a Diddy Kong Racing 2 when he held up a bunch of bananas at the E3 digital event.
Mm-hmm.
Do the math.
Do the math.
Do the math, Chad. Now,
wow. So it's funny that Kevin Callahan, he no longer is he providing, quote unquote original evidence. He's now just tilting at the same windmills that we are. How do you still believe this blog?
Okay, I didn't say I believed it. I said I'm intrigued by it, and I'm delighted that it exists. That's different than hardline believing. I can be agnostic about Kevin Callahan too, Chad. I can be agnostic about a whole bunch of things in my life.
Yeah, as has been established.
So don't take this as me endorsing what he says. It's me celebrating what he says. I'm glad Kevin Callahan is in our lives, because without it, I wouldn't want to live in a world without Kevin Callahan's blog.
Okay.
It's that spice that just makes life extra nice.
Yeah. All right.
So what I love about this one is how he doubles down on the original blog post from a year ago. But he also provides this hard outs for the rumor. If what he says about the NX isn't true, then that's it for Kevin Callahan. He's going all in on what he's selling here.
Well, lucky for Kevin Callahan, they're not going to say anything about the NX until at least E3 2016. So he just bought himself another year. Do you not see how paper thin this is? It's transparent, man. This is obviously someone fucking with us.
Here's the thing, though.
You're establishing a precedent for these shitty fake blog rumors and giving them attention when there's just now going to be more of them.
No. Here's one thing, though. Because you're thinking he's a guy from DK Vine.
I would be surprised if it's not someone who understands that DK Vine is laser focused on his words.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then I think a juicy piece of information he could have provided in this blog post was what we learned from Dave Throat at E3 and about the rumor that David Wise is working with Nintendo. that would be like the big, like, oh my God, that would be the linchpin that would hold this blog post together. Of course, it would also out them as potentially somebody who lurks at DK Vine.
Well,
but
we already know this is a DK Vine person because they used in their first blog post, they used a Winky the Frog image from our image gallery.
To be fair, a lot of people have used our images, and you can just do Google image search, and DK Vine is usually the first, second, or third result. And it's, if it's the most high resolution, you can search Winky Donkey Kong Country, and DK Vine will come up. So it's not necessarily evidence that they hang out at DK Vine. So I'm saying the lack of David Wise rumor in this bunch of rumors provides evidence that this might not be a DK Viner.
We just got done talking about how there's literally no way for us to know what Sakurai is thinking. I think the same applies with this. Like you're dissecting it, and I feel like that's a fool's errand. There's nothing that you can hope to uncover unless you view the source of the page and it says, "Hi DK Vine, I'm just fucking with you." Which, by the way, have we tried that?
I'm going to do it right now, actually.
Please do. Oh my God.
All right. Let's see.
That was the worst McConaughey I've ever heard.
I brought up the page source. Now I'm searching for any reference to DK Vine.
Yeah, just type in Vine on Control F.
Okay.
V.
Nope. Nothing.
I? No. Okay.
0 of 0.
It was worth a shot.
Yeah. So, Kevin Callahan confirmed.
No.
Okay, so we actually have a lead on Kevin Callahan's identity. Do you want to hear about this?
Sure. Why not?
Okay, so a DK Vine Facebook member named Don Lodsky has maybe he's Kevin Callahan.
That name sounds even more fake than Kevin Callahan.
Oh, come on. Maybe he is Kevin Callahan. He did some research through the Google, and he found that there's actually a real Kevin Callahan located in Northfield, Minnesota, which, by the way, if you go to on Kevin Callahan's blog, if you go to the About on his blog, let's see, it says that he lives in Northfield, Minnesota. So that's a little bit a piece of Kevin Callahan news that we hadn't had before.
Oh, and where did they find this on Google? Was it from Kevin Callahan's blog's About page?
No. So on YouTube, there's a series of videos filmed in Northfield, Minnesota by a Kevin Callahan. It's documentary footage about airfields and retired Air Force members.
Oh, yeah, like these World War II vets.
Yeah. Filmed by a Kevin Callahan that lives in Northfield, Minnesota. So, here's my question. Does this mean Kevin Callahan is a real guy? And he's this old dude who loves airfields, the Air Force, and
like
animal mascot
history, yeah,
and animal mascot go-kart racers. Or did somebody like swipe the identity of this guy for their fake blog?
I don't know. At this point, I think Robert Durst is Kevin Callahan. I don't. It's just.
It's going to be revealed as he's taking a piss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what have you done? What have you done? Now you have to bring back Drumstick.
You leaked it all.
You did it all.
I don't know, man. Obviously, I said going into E3 that if we didn't learn anything about Diddy Kong Racing Wii U there, that my faith in Kevin Callahan would be shattered. And then during E3, maybe I was in denial, and I said, you know what? I think it still happened because here's why. And I gave the reasons Kevin Callahan gave in his blog post. So,
yeah, that's what he wants you to do.
So here's where I stand on Kevin Callahan now, Chad.
Okay.
Because I know you are. I can feel the disdain just pouring through every word you're uttering.
I thought I left it ambiguous.
I believe maybe 10% in Kevin Callahan now. Hashtag I believe 10% in Kevin Callahan.
Yeah, that's going to be a long hashtag because you can't use the percent symbol in there.
I can type out percent though, and I prefer that because it's extra work. So
yeah, you obviously haven't been using Twitter much.
No, you frown on it when I try to use the Twitter. I'm like, are you bogarting my Twitter? And I'm like, no, man, I just had something to tweet.
No, just the thing is, Twitter has a lot of weird rules, and it's since you only have 140 characters to work with, like, you know, like it takes some getting used to. Like on one of your tweets, you used a hashtag instead of an @ symbol to call someone I think it was like Project Spark or something. And so it's like, yeah, it took me a couple of weeks to get used to all the ins and outs of Twitter. So I'm not faulting you for it, but you know, it's like sometimes I have to go behind and clean up tweets from the rest of the staff.
I have to do that with Facebook though, so it's
fair enough. I'm not saying that I'm anywhere close to a Facebook guru as you.
Oh man, is that like the next evolution of the golf guru in Mario?
Facebook guru, the somehow less sufferable than the golf guru.
So and I believe about 10% in Kevin Callahan, and that's just the part of me that still needs to believe that's open to any exciting possibility that life has to offer. You know, because if you close yourself off to possibilities, then life becomes miserable. I want to retain that childlike sense of enthusiasm and wonder that kept us holding out hope for Saberman Stampede year after year at every E3. Mm-hmm. So that's what Kevin Callahan represents to me now, and I don't see the problem in that. What is the problem in that?
It's complete. You're diluting. I don't really care about you. I don't give a shit about Hyle Russell.
I already knew that. I already knew that.
Yeah, we all know that. No, you're perpetuating this, and I don't think people. Like, we've already established that the internet is just sort of this echo chamber of rumor. They're not going to listen to the full context of what you're saying. They're just going to, oh, here's a link to a blog. Let me go look at that blog. Diddy Kong Racing Wii U. Wow, that sounds like something I want. My brain now assumes that it's fact, so I'm going to spread the rumor further. It's just.
But nobody's doing that with this, though. That's the thing, though. Nobody's doing that with the second Kevin Callahan post. He really hurt his credibility with his second blog post because it seems like such a piss take.
But not with you.
No. As I already established, I'm interested in the notion of Kevin Callahan himself rather than the goods he's trying to sell us.
Okay.
I mean, I'm still open to the possibility that a Diddy Kong Racing 2 could be coming.
So am I.
Okay, so I am more entertained with Kevin Callahan as a meme, as a comedic figure in this world we inhabit. Kevin Callahan is a source for comedy. Kevin Callahan is a source for amusement and bemusement.
Yeah,
and I don't see the problem in enjoying that. Like we're gonna be taking on this ride no matter what happens.
Okay.
So why not enjoy it?
Then if that's the case, then. Perhaps I misread your intentions in wanting to focus so much on Kevin Callahan. I thought that this whole time you've been giving weight to the nonsense that's been posted on his blog.
The initial blog post, yes. The secondary one, I'm just delighted that he's back. Like, I want him to just post bullshit about this nonstop. And if we have to wait every year, well, at least it's going to be a very special treat when he updates again. But I'm interested in who this is. If he is a DK Vine forum member or a Kongversation listener, I'm interested in if Kevin Callahan is his real name. I don't think it could be. If he
we know he's a Kongversation caller. He called in like 3 episodes ago.
You know, I somehow doubt that was the real Kevin Callahan.
There is no real Kevin Callahan. Haven't you been listening?
He worked in CGI animation, television, and the game industry.
He has a wife and children. Yeah.
And currently living in Minnesota, in Northfield, Minnesota. And he might be an Air Force aficionado. And he might film documentaries about it. Look, if he worked in television, then he might be a documentarian, and this might be right up his alley. This might be the same guy. Go to YouTube. Look this up.
I've watched the video. Are you telling the listenership? Go to.
I'm telling the listenership. I'm not talking to you. You of little faith. You who do not see the joy of Kevin Callahan. I should write a book, The Joy of Kevin Callahan.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting to me how the internet works. Like, this is the kind of like only on the internet could you have this many layers of ambiguity and just like mirth. I don't know. It's delightful to me.
All right. Okay. I feel like
you're not playing along. You're not playing along though.
No, I don't like the precedent this sets.
But this precedent already exists. Like this is nothing.
But now we are.
This is nothing compared to Smash Brothers. This is nothing compared to the mountains of bullshit that come out on a daily basis for Smash Brothers.
No, I agree, but with those mountains of bullshit, we always have a skeptical eye turned toward it. On this one, I worry that you are, if not endorsing it, you're going to be seen as endorsing it. And
okay, I'll say right up here, right up front at the end of the episode, I am not endorsing what Kevin Callahan is saying. Do I believe that Diddy Kong Racing could be coming? Yes, absolutely. I think Retro is definitely working on something. I think Monster could be
really they haven't just shut down.
Yeah. I think with the Dave Throat rumor with Monster and Retro both having that, as Kevin Callahan so eloquently put it, they had a shared bond over Donkey Kong, and I think it's a really good possibility that Nintendo's going to want to revive that branding, that Diddy Kong Racing branding, because I think there's value in it, and it's one of the few nostalgia mines they haven't plundered yet. Just smoke a J, man. Just kick back, enjoy what Kevin Callahan has to say, because it's a wild ride.
All right.
This has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.